Whoa, that went pretty well, to say the least. So yeah, once again, it's not ordinary for me to make a video on the same topic 3 times in a row, but it's also not normal for one of my videos to get over 500,000 views in just a couple days, so yeah, when that happens, I'll behave a little out of the ordinary. But I want to say welcome to all of the thousands of people that have recently subscribed just from my Cybertruck video. This is Telos of Tech. We occasionally talk about smartphones, but if you subscribed for the Cybertruck video and you would like more videos on electric vehicles specifically, I actually started another channel, Telos of EV, just so that we can have a dedicated area for those types of videos that go more into the specifics, because I know a bunch of you guys just subscribed from my Cybertruck video, and you'll probably be very confused once you realize we argue about notches and bezels all day over here, and you may not be that interested in that. If you are, that's great. You can watch more videos. You may find out later I'm an Apple sheep, and you may not like that. So if you're not interested in the iPhone, Android, Mac versus PC bickering of the YouTube space, please check out Telos of EV. I'm toying around with the demand. I want to see if people are interested in me doing designated videos on electric vehicles. If that channel does well, then maybe I'll just keep all my EV related stuff over there, and if not, I'll just do EVs occasionally on this channel. But nonetheless, that's not why you clicked on this video. Here are my top 7 questions about the Cybertruck, things I need answers to, and basically this video is what I would ask someone who gets to talk to Elon Musk in an interview or on a podcast. That's not going to happen here ever, probably, but if someone got to sit down and talk to Elon about the Cybertruck, this is what I would heavily request they ask about. Let's begin. So in the past, Elon has talked about how safety is a very big priority for Tesla, and at the Cybertruck event, that wasn't really mentioned, other than, this truck is durable, it can take a beating, except when Franz uses his throwing arm a little too well. Aside from that, though, safety was not really brought up. I have huge questions when it comes to the safety measurements we have within the Cybertruck. For one, this metal seems incredibly durable, way stronger than the average material most pickup trucks are made out of. Does that affect the amount of crumple zone you get in an accident? So if the Cybertruck got hit or hit someone else for whatever reason, obviously there's lots of radar sensors and cameras that are there to prevent the Cybertruck from ever being an accident, so I'm sure it's probably still safer than a lot of cars on the road right now that don't have those safety sensors. But in the event that it does, will that frunk actually crumple like a normal crumple zone on other Teslas? Or is this thing's exoskeleton going to be so strong that there's actually not much compression in the case of an accident, in which case maybe the Cybertruck isn't as safe as the Model 3 and the Model S and the Model X have been rated as in the past? Could this be one of Tesla's first vehicles that doesn't quite hold up to their safety standards a lot of us are used to? Maybe. I'm also curious about airbags, especially with that boxy looking interior. I get that they wanted this marble looking front to be kind of like a countertop, and because the whole truck is so boxy and squared off and there's almost no curved edges on any part of this truck, they wanted the inside to be square and boxy too. But in the event of, again, slamming the brakes really hard, does that mean that the guy in the passenger seat basically has to just, eat that countertop as soon as someone slams on the brakes? I imagine that's a very, very sharp counter to throw your head into in the event of everybody in the car being thrusted forward very quickly. Do airbags fit in there still somehow? Especially with that tiny compact steering wheel? There's a chance that won't be on the final model, but still, how are airbags going to be built into this much more spacious design? But while it's nice to have that extra headroom, that also means that in the event of an accident, there's a lot more room for you to fly through. But hey, at least you'll probably not go through the windshield, but your skull might splatter. I don't know, they just didn't talk about safety. And on that subject of safety, there's also a lot of concern when it comes to how the Cybertruck will do if it ends up running into a pedestrian, which of course there's cameras and radar sensors, so it's not like that's going to happen often, but let's say if someone jumped out in front of this thing while it was at a high rate of speed and it couldn't slow down or swerve safely, if it ended up hitting someone, won't these sharp edges and sharp corners end up causing a lot more pain and a lot more damage to the people on the street if there was a collision involved? In the same way, though, I can see why that probably doesn't really matter, because the truck is going to have so many precautions to avoid hitting people in the first place that in the event that someone does jump out in front of it, it's probably going to be in a situation where the truck is traveling at such a speed that the shape of the truck doesn't really matter. You're going to get hurt. There's going to be damage done to you no matter what kind of truck you get in front of. So time will tell once this thing actually gets out on the road, but I would love to hear Elon talk more about the safety measures, if there's benefits to the boxier design, if there's still a crumple zone, or if it's safe safer than the average pickup truck, or maybe that's a compromise of going with this design. And we're still talking on the subject of safety here, but last concern about it is this glass, which a lot of people, despite the botched demo, believe Tesla armored glass must be much stronger than the average windows on a car, but that also has a lot of people worried because I've seen people state glass on cars and trucks is supposed to be easy to shatter, so if the driver or passengers are passed out on the inside from a wreck and firemen or emergency personnel want to get in the car and get them out, and for whatever reason the doors aren't working or the doors are jammed, will you be able to break these windows and get people out? Another situation I saw someone pitch is if this thing drove into a lake or an ocean or a river and it was completely submerged. In those situations, it becomes very hard to open the doors because of water pressure, and that's a situation where breaking the window is oftentimes a good way to go. But my personal response to that is Teslas are actually a lot better in water than people think they are. There have been times in the past where a Model S will just floor it through a flooded street and it will actually make it all the way across and keep going, because this isn't necessarily like old phones where if they dropped themselves in water, the electronics would instantly fry themselves. I believe if you were in the situation where the truck fell into a river or lake or ocean or whatever, you would probably have enough time for the electronics to keep working and you could roll down the windows all the way and get yourself out if you needed to. But it's going to be very hard to test that because currently there's like only 1 or 2 Cybertrucks in the world, and I'm sure Tesla is not eager to throw one of these things in a lake and figure out how they handle when completely submerged. So time will tell, but I'd be curious to know of what emergency personnel or firemen would think of the glass being hard to break and probably not user breakable in the event of a severe accident. But that's all part of the design. So moving on from safety, my next big question that I bet a lot of people are asking about is just the design. You know, why make a truck look this way? Tesla's ideology has been about making electric cars cool and sleek and sexy and trying to make them approachable and trying to make them seem like a good deal for the average day car driver. This feels like it's going against that ideology a little bit because not everyone is in love with the Cybertruck design, and doesn't that mean that you're kind of moving away from your core ideology of trying to convince as many people as possible to switch to an electric vehicle? It's not about making new vehicles, it's not about making grand new designs, it's just about making electric vehicles that people can apply to their daily lives. So why go with this drastic redesign? Why not just play it safe and make a normal looking pickup? And while I'm asking these questions in these videos, I also have a little bit of the answers. I would just love to hear Elon's response. I personally think that there's likely a lot of financial benefits and manufacturing shortcuts you can make when you do a design like this, and it's my personal belief, there's no real evidence to suggest this, but it's my personal belief that Tesla originally just wanted to make a pickup truck. They didn't want to brand it as, you know, Blade Runner-esque or the Cybertruck or anything. They just realized if we want a truck that can tow what this can, start at this price point, have this range, sit this many people, have a tailgate that turns into a ramp, and have a material that's durable, in order to make a design that could check all these boxes, they had to do something different. They had to change the manufacturing process. And I do know that it's much easier to create glass when the glass is flat and it's not curved. And I also know that this stainless steel exoskeleton they keep talking about uses a drastically different manufacturing process than traditional cars, which may end up being the reason why this Cybertruck is so cheap. And I think affordability may have trumped design preference for a lot of people at the design studio. But still, we know very little about this manufacturing process. We're not sure if Tesla could potentially make a truck that looks more normal and have the same specs for the same price, but that's definitely something I would bring up to Elon if I could talk to him. And you may disagree with me on that, but just keep in mind, there's no other electric pickup truck with the same performance at the same price point as the Cybertruck. So until that day comes, my point still kind of holds up that the Cybertruck probably looks the way it does because of affordability. But anyway, we're getting off track from the questions. Okay, question number 3. Where are a bunch of stuff? There's a bunch of things missing that likely will be on the final version, but they're not there right now, but I just imagine it's a very common question. For one, there's no side view mirrors. When are those showing up? And some people have said that there may be laws changing in the future that allow for Tesla to make this truck without actual side mirrors on it, but this is already a big design shift for a lot of people, Tesla. You might want to just keep them on there for the sake of people being used to driving that way. I get that this thing's going to come out in a time where full autonomy is supposed to be ready by that point, but The Model X was also unveiled without side view mirrors, as was the Tesla Roadster, and I'm pretty confident that this thing's probably going to have some type of low polygon, square, weird looking side view mirrors by the time it actually delivers. There's also no windshield wipers, which are kind of going to throw off this whole very flat, very smooth design design on the front of the Cybertruck. If you end up having to put, you know, traditional windshield wipers on there, it might throw off the whole look, unless you can come up with some kind of cyberpunk Blade Runner-esque windshield wipers, but I don't know how they're gonna do that, where they're gonna fit them, or if they're gonna use a completely different style of windshield wipers entirely. I don't know, but Elon, we'd love some follow-up tweets about that, please. Not to mention that bizarre-looking steering wheel that looks more like a roadster steering wheel than anything. Is that going to be on the final version, or are you just going to stick a Model 3 wheel on there at the end of the day? Because most truck drivers probably want, you know, to be able to hold the wheel from any position and not think they're driving a sports car. Maybe that'll be an option at checkout or something, but I would love to get some more follow-up thoughts on that. With all of these things that the Cybertruck is missing, it makes me wonder, is it even street legal at its current state, or does there still have to be quite a few design additions before this thing can actually drive on city streets? I don't know. We'll find out. Number 4. This is a very common one I've seen across Twitter and YouTube. Cyber Quad. Can we get some follow-up tweets about the Cyber Quad? How much is that thing? What is the range on it? What's the 0 to 45? I guess you could do 0 to 60 in a quad runner, but just talk more about it. I don't know. There's so much we don't know. What's the towing capability of the Cyber Quad? Can we buy that without the Cybertruck? I'm almost more interested in that if it's at a decent price point. What's the charging speed? You can probably charge it off of standard 110 outlet at a pretty decent rate. So can we get more info on that? And also, if you order the Cyber Quad with the Cybertruck, does it deliver with the ATV in the back already? Just talk more about it. Okay, I know it's not necessarily related to the Cybertruck, but so many people are asking about it. It's a really cool accessory to go along with that Cybertruck. So please give us more Cyberquad details. Anything at all. Just something about it. Question number 5 I have for the Cybertruck is, how much does it weigh? No, there's no follow-up response to that. There's no elaboration needed. I'm curious. How much does it weigh? We still don't know. They didn't say on the website. People are estimating. Just tell us, you know, you gave us the length and the height and everything. Just tell us, how much does it weigh? Maybe it's not official. Just give us an estimate, you know, it's about this heavy. That's it. Just wait. Okay, moving on. Number 6 is a huge concern I actually have with the Cybertruck, is charging. So there appears to be a standard charging plug in the back, but if you're towing a trailer like the one they advertised on their website, which, by the way, is Tesla making a trailer? I guess that's a side question. That doesn't count. But if you're towing a trailer, most supercharging stations right now, they're all designed for Model 3s, Model S's, and X's to just back into, because, you know, they line themselves up, so you back your Tesla into them and plug them in. But if you have that giant trailer, it's going to be pretty hard to supercharge with it without, you know, covering up the entire supercharging station. It's like, sorry guys, no one else can charge here. I gotta charge my Cybertruck. So I ended up taking up, you know, 12 spaces. So is Tesla gonna consider redesigning some of these charge stations so that they can be a bit more friendly to Cybertrucks towing trailers? I feel like this could be a huge holdup in the future, as there's gonna be a lot of Cybertruck drivers taking advantage of that 500-mile range. They're gonna need to supercharge. And when they do they have to unhitch the trailer, park it somewhere else, and then come charge the truck? That seems kind of tedious. So hopefully autopilot, auto hookup with the trailer and everything will make that easier or something. I don't know. But I would love to get a comment on that from Elon or the Tesla team in general. Number 7. This is the last one that I'm kind of curious about. There's really no branding of any kind. Did anyone else find that weird? Is that also going to be a design change before this thing officially ships? Like in the teaser image, we saw just the windshield of the Cybertruck and it had the little logo on the front. Now that the Cybertruck's actually out though, there's no logo. There's no Tesla logo pretty much anywhere. Maybe somewhere on the steering wheel, but even that wasn't super obvious. Is the Cybertruck just not gonna have logos? I'm kind of okay with that. As someone who likes minimal and clean design, I don't think you need a logo on the Cybertruck to know that it's the Cybertruck. You can just gotta look at that thing and be like, yep, that's a Tesla, that's for sure, because nothing else on the road looks like that. Which is kind of bold, because like Elon said with his point about pickup trucks all kind of looking the same these days, as soon as you take the logo off of all of them, it actually becomes very difficult to know the difference. So the fact that you don't even need the Tesla logo on the Cybertruck kind of speaks volumes to how different it is from traditional pickup truck design. So ask Elon those questions, whoever's watching this and you get the chance. Or if Elon's watching this, you know, just answer all my questions through the next episode of Meme Review on PewDiePie's channel. Just do something like that, I don't know. And let me know what other questions you have for the Cybertruck. I'm sure there's more than 7. These were just my top ones. But feel free to hit me up on Twitter or join our Discord. We can talk more about it there. And I promise, this is the last Cybertruck video on this channel for a while. We want to talk more about EVs. Please check out Talos of EV, and we'll see how that channel goes. Anyway, this is your Tesla Sheep here. I'll see you guys in the next one.